Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Tim's Takeaways. We're finally getting to the end of the high school sports seasons. Everything is now concluded. I think there's a couple baseball games still being played today to determine the 1A and 3A state champions. But as far as this area is concerned, we have finally wrapped up what was an interesting, to say the least, high school sports season, but nonetheless one that was really, really good for a lot of area teams and a lot of area individuals. I'm going to start by recapping what happened last week, and I'm going to start back on Wednesday at baseball, where the Ashley Screaming Eagles played in the 4A East Final against Fuquay Arena, and just want to give a big shout out to my buddies Ben Stroll and Travis Vithalani for the job that they were able to do with the Screaming Eagles this year. When I wrote my baseball preview earlier in the year, I said that I thought Ashley was definitely one of the favorites to win the Mid-Eastern Conference. They, in fact, did win the Mid-Eastern Conference title, and then really went on a roll in the playoffs and reeled off some nice victories, three of them to get to the East Final. And unfortunately, just came up, a hit or two short of knocking off a really good Fuquay Arena squad. The Bengals ended up going on to win the 4A state championship. They came back after losing game one to Reagan, won games 2 and 3. So Ashley can say that they lost to the best team in the state, and really they were right there with them, pitch for pitch that whole game. Some terrific individual performances. Branton Jernigan really got hot at the right time for Ashley. Drew Tyndall had a terrific season all year. Noah Dale, Michael Brannon came up with some timely hits. And then the bottom of the order really did a good job of producing in some of those playoff games as well to help Ashley. And then, of course, the pitching staff was led by Tanner Collins, who I think is the biggest surprise, pleasant surprise of the baseball season. Wasn't really sure what Ashley would. I don't think Ashley and the coaching staff really knew what they would get from Tanner this year. But what he did was fantastic. He went out there and proved that he was the ace of the staff and one of the best pitchers in the area. So the numbers he put up were terrific. He was also really good on Wednesday against Fuquay Arena. Held them to only 2 runs. And that's a potent offense that really had been scoring a ton of runs. They did that in games 2 and 3 of the state championship series, put up a ton of runs. So to hold them to 2 runs was really impressive. So Tanner did a great job all season for Ashley, and he's only a rising senior. So the Screaming Eagles are still going to be a force to reckon with next year with that pitching staff led by Tanner, and then they've got some good bats also returning to the lineup. This weekend was really, really good for a lot of our area athletes. We had state championships in track and field, girls tennis, and wrestling, and I came away with some state champions, which is always exciting. So on the girls tennis side, Hoggard's Macy Morrison and Elizabeth Volman won one of the greatest tennis matches I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of them, to win the state championship against a really, really talented Huff team, and a Huff team that included one part of last year's double state champion. Jessica Brannon was on that double state championship team from last year. She had a new partner this year, but a really, really solid player, and gave Hoggard all they could handle in that final. So after losing the first set 6-3, Morrison and Volman bounced back and played really well, and took the second set in a tiebreaker 7-6, and then the third and final set was just a crazy mix of emotions for both sides. Hoggard jumped out to a 3-0 lead. Then Huff came back and tied it at 3-all. Then there were a ton of breaks back and forth. Finally, got to Hoggard was up 6-5 and just couldn't get the hold that they needed to win. So it went to another tiebreaker. The tiebreaker score was tied 4-all. So just as close a match as you could possibly have. In the end, Hoggard won that third set tiebreaker 7-4 to win. It was only the second state title in doubles in school history. They joined Caitlin Burns and Maggie Dickens, who were an incredible team and won the title back in 2008. So huge congrats to Macy and Elizabeth. They put in a lot of hard work. I know that firsthand, and it was great to be able to be there and watch them celebrate and enjoy that victory with their family and friends. So congrats to them. In wrestling, I thought we potentially had a chance to have maybe 5 or 6 state champions. Unfortunately, a couple guys fell short. We had 4 in the finals, but the only winner was Laney's Mark Samuel at 120 in 4A. He's now a 2-time defending state champion. He won last year at 106 pounds, and like I said, this year at 120 pounds. So after finishing 3rd as a freshman, Mark has now gone first, and he'll try to become a 3-time state champion next year. Laney had 2 finalists. Like I said, unfortunately came up a bit short, but still fantastic seasons for Daniel Schoaf and Devin Bell. North Brunswick's Hunter Campbell ended his illustrious career with a runner-up finish. He was a 4-time state placer, and we had lots of other finishers in the top 4. And for all that information, you can go to coastalpreps.com and read the daily roundup or read the story I wrote about Laney to see all the other finishers that finished in the top 4. Speaking of Laney, they won the team title. They scored 100.5 points to really kind of cruise past Cardinal Gibbons, who finished second. I think they scored 79.5 points, so it really wasn't that close in the team standings. That was Laney's first team state title since 1992, when longtime coach Alan Sewell was still in charge. So a big congrats to Coach Andre Adams. He's now been with the program for several years. They've been so close to winning state titles the last couple years. They made the dual team finals in 2017 and 2019, came up short. Last year they were second as a team at the individual state champions in points. So it was really nice to be able to see the Buccaneers get that state championship that they've been working toward and have been so close to achieving. So a big congrats to all the wrestlers that helped Laney clinch that state title. And they got a lot back next year, so maybe they can go for it again and try to make it back-to-back titles. Unfortunately, we didn't have any individual track and field runners win state championships yesterday in the 2A and 3A divisions, but we had some runner-up finishes, a lot of top 5 and top 10 performances. Again, you can find all those results on coastalpreps.com. We did have a state champion on Friday in track and field. Pender's Daisy Hearn won the wheelchair shot put and wheelchair discus titles. So big congrats to Daisy. She's a junior. She won a pair of state titles as a freshman as well. Unfortunately, the sophomore year got canceled due to COVID, and then she was able to come back again this year and win 2 more state titles. So she'll be shooting for a couple more next year, and could leave Pender as a 6-time state champion, which would be awesome. So big congrats, Daisy. Way to represent for the area and for your school, and wishing you the best of luck next year as well as you move forward. Like I said, that does it for the high school season. We'll now wait until August when everything gets cranked up again, but I'll still be around. I'll still be doing a lot of things. I'm working on a summer project right now. If you haven't seen, I'm going back to find football scores for every team in our area. As far back as I can go. Finished Ashley and Trask, and about 95% of the way complete with Hoggard as well. I'm in the process of working on Laney right now, and then I'll jump into the Brunswick County schools, the Pender County schools, and then I'll probably save New Hanover for last because that one's going to go back the furthest. So once I have all that information, it'll be available on the website to subscribers. So just another reason why you should join the website and become a subscriber if you're not already. I'll also be covering a lot of Legion baseball and softball, so if you have any interest in that, you can be on the lookout for that in the next few weeks or months leading up into the high school season. I will have the all-area teams for these 4 sports that just finished. Hopefully by this weekend or early next week. My goal is to go out and get the Player of the Year photos this week at some point, and then announce those teams, like I said, either next weekend or into that following week. So once I have a schedule, I will post it up onto my social media platforms, and that way you guys will know. Again, that'll be baseball, track and field, wrestling, and girls tennis. So also be on the lookout for those. I mentioned earlier that I'm going to be looking for interns to help me out next year, covering games, taking photos. Those are going to be high school students that I'm looking for. So if you know a high school student that's interested in journalism, or just enjoys writing or taking pictures, and just wants to kind of see what this business is all about, please encourage them to be on the lookout. On July 1st, I'm going to put out a Google Doc with just, it's kind of an application type thing that I'm going to have potential interns fill out, and then I'll go through them and select a few that I want to have join me and help me with some coverage, and then we'll see how it goes, and hopefully I'll be able to add on more as time goes on, and the more people I can get helping me, the more games we can get covered, and that's the goal I've always had when I started this business, was to provide the coverage that these athletes deserve, because as a former athlete myself, I know how hard they're working, and they deserve to get as much coverage as possible. So looking forward to kind of training up some potential journalists, and going to enjoy working with the high school students that have the same passion that I do for high school sports. So hope everybody has a great week. This video ran a little longer than normal, but I hope you were able to make it through to the very end. I may or may not be back on here doing these during the summer months. I'll kind of see how the Legion stuff plays out, and we may have some 7-on-7s with football and some basketball camps that I may want to talk about, but it may not be an every Sunday thing until August again, when the high school sports season gets back going. But until then, I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.